In this final video, you will learn what is landed cost. As an importer, you will want to avoid a rude shock, especially when you think that the ex-work factory price that you bought was supposed to be so attractive, but yet when you bring it over to your own country, it becomes exorbitant. The number of intermediaries will affect your costs as a buyer. The more the intermediaries there are, of course, the higher the markups. For this reason, many importers prefer to buy directly from the factory if possible, to save on middleman's commission or costs. The market channel may include the manufacturer, the foreign import or export agent, any distributors or wholesalers, and other retailers before it reaches finally the ultimate customers. This diagram illustrates an example of the stage-by-stage markups as goods pass through a channel. If there are many intermediaries or channel members, you can expect the markup each time it changes hands. It is inevitable sometimes because of the market structure. A manufacturer may sell to a national wholesaler abroad, who in turn sells to regional wholesalers, who may further sell to provincial or local distributors. As it changes hands, there are markups which will contribute to the local distributor's cost to secure the goods. We can define landed cost as the total cost of purchasing a product and getting it to your warehouse or final destination, or even until it reaches your final customer's door. Another way of putting it would be the sum of all the costs associated with making and delivering a product to the point where it produces revenue. As an importer, your RSP must cover your landed cost. RSP refers to retail selling price, which is the maximum price the goods in package form may be sold to the ultimate consumer. It includes all taxes, freight charges, transport charges, commission payable, and any other charges such as advertisement. It can be different from country to country. If you are the importer, you need to estimate your landed costs and other expenses and add your desired markups so that you can derive the RSP. It is advantageous to reduce the cost of each component of landed cost. So what is the relationship between Incoterms and landed costs? Let's use an example of an importer in Georgia or Atlanta, USA, who buys canned luncheon meat from Golden Bridge Manufacturing on FCA Singapore, Incoterms. The importer needs to ask what is his responsibility, cost, and risk based on the Incoterms. You may recall that FCA Singapore means the importer is responsible to nominate a carrier or vessel for the seller to load the goods on that named vessel, after which the freight charges and the journey after are under the importer's account. Now, is Atlanta a seaport? Well, the answer is no, because if you look at the Google map, it is actually very much inland. So where is the nearest port to Atlanta? You can find out from Google Map or any transport network map to find out where is the nearest port to Atlanta and how to connect to the importer's warehouse or distribution center. After some investigative and research work, you found out that the nearest seaport to Atlanta is actually Savannah. The other two are way further and likely more expensive, since trucking is never cheap in USA. After more investigation and research, you may discover that there is a double-stack rail service from Savannah Seaport to Atlanta. Atlanta is an Inland Container Terminal, or ICT. Of course, you can also get a freight forwarder who is competitive in USA, such as UPS, for example, the forwarding division, Menlo in America, to do all the legwork and provide you with a quotation for all the shipping, documentation, delivery charges. Sometimes the trucking and local charges, including custom duties and tax, can exceed the sea freight charges many times. So you can see that the landed cost of this importer in America is not just the FCA Singapore price that he was quoted, but all other expenses and markups on margin. All these will contribute to the RSP that he finally set to sell the products to his end users. To conclude this topic, please note that Incoterms define the obligations and costs between the seller and the buyer and define the point of passage of the risk. But Incoterms do not cover ownership or passage of title. They do not cover payment. They do not specifically outline who to cover the insurance unless it is CIF and CIV Incoterms that are agreed upon. We have come to the end of this video. Incoterms can be rather daunting, even for adults who are working in the logistics and in international trade. So do take time to review before you go on to the summary video. Practice makes perfect.